Brett Goode into the program this morning. Brett, I was a little surprised that KJ Jefferson did not wind up on the Davey O'Brien semifinalist list based on the way that he's played this season. We were speaking to earlier just the improvement of Kendall Briles' offense. They moved up 50 spots in scoring. How much of that would you credit to KJ and his play this season?
Oh, you got to give him the credit because he's obviously gotten better and he's shown it on the field. And I kind of think a lot of the awards like that are like the Pro Bowl. They always say, like, even when you go to the Pro Bowl, it's from the previous years. So there's a lot of guys that are deserving to be on the list and to get up there. And what really happens is they just want to see 2 years of you doing certain things when it comes to the media and a lot of people in these voting rankings, just because they're so used to seeing guys that, have a few games or, they want to see it consistently build up. And for him, if he just keeps on his track, I think the sky's the limit for the amount of awards and the list that he's going to be on. And so I think he just keeps his head down and keeps working.
I think a guy that could wind up very well as a finalist for the Fred Biletnikoff Award is Traylon Burks. And I saw the picture that he posted. It looked like real time that he caught it. Then I watched the replay, he didn't catch it. And then I saw the picture, that toe tap in the back of the end zone from Devion Warren. Brett, you played with a guy, Darren McFadden, that was just an all-conference, an all-American, and a flat-out stud. Based on what you've seen since then, is Traylon Burks the best offensive player since your former teammate, Darren McFadden?
Yeah, and they're going to be game changers, and that's what he is. Burks has gone out there. You've had some glimpses of some other guys, but just the consistency of going out there every single week and being able to do your job at a high level the way he's done it, you can definitely put him in that category with Darren. And the way Darren was, he could change games, and that's what you see with Burks is he can go out there and be a game changer, and it doesn't matter where people know he's getting the ball, he can go up there and get it and make some plays, and that's what you got to be a top receiver.
So when we look at this weekend with LSU, one of the things that stood out to me, and it's really hard to figure. I mean, Alabama's good. I don't know if they're Alabama great, but LSU, really did a good job on them at the line of scrimmage. I don't know how much of that game you watched, but what concerns me is those defensive linemen for LSU this week. How does Arkansas find and establish the run game, particularly in the middle, with LSU's front this week?
Well, it's a tough front, but it's going to be a tough test for us. But we've just got to keep doing what we're doing. We've been able to move some lines and control that on the offensive side, and that's going to be with tempo. We've got to maintain some drives, get some first downs, and if you're able to do that, then you're able to kind of get some longer drives and really get the run game going. And then once you get the run game going, you get the pass game, and that opens up some more runs. So as long as we can just go out there and it's okay to get a 40-yard first down instead of trying to go for the touchdown home run play. Just kind of getting that rhythm. And those offensive linemen love that. They love being on the field and kind of dominating. And you can see what happened last week is we dominated so much there at the end, they just kind of gave up. And that's what you want to see is your offensive line just kind of hit them in the mouth the whole time, and then they just give up. And they just don't have an answer for you.
Yeah. Let's talk about last week since you're kind of our special teams guru here that we turn to. What did you see? Because in the end, the kicking game decided the outcome. Arkansas made 3 of 4. Mississippi State missed all 3 of their kicks. They're having open tryouts this week, according to Leach, looking for a kicker. What did you see from both teams last week as Cam Little got a personal best and a new long, and Mississippi State struggled, and that led them to defeat?
Yeah, I think Cam's doing a great job. He's improving each week, and, we've talked about ball flight before. His ball flight looks so good. Even when he's kind of off target a little bit, he's still hitting a good ball, and so it's just little bitty things that he corrects off of film and just knowledge of everything. And Arkansas is a tough place to kick. The wind swirls in there. They redid the end zone down there, and so it makes a lot more wind than you realize. And you can even kind of look at the little flags on top of the goalpost, and it might be different down there for the way a kicker feels in pregame or something like that. And for Mississippi State, it's really unfortunate that they're having open tries because that's not what you want to kind of throw to a preseason All-American kicker that they had. Everybody thought he was good, and so he's good for a reason. So you want to know how he's coached at this point. Is somebody going over there and kind of reaming him on the sideline? You get a lot of that with young kickers, and people say that's your only job. Well, it's still tough to do. So you kind of want to lift him up. And I was really proud of Cam going over there and just picking him up and saying, hey, they had talks, and there's no time what was said, but I'm sure it was heartfelt and it was emotional because all kickers have been in that situation where they're missing. And I think what happens is, it could be the snap, the hold, or, just being off just a little bit on your target. And those guys just, you do that in pregame, and you just continually trying to get better. But that kick that they tried to hit at the very end, we talked about Cam's ball flight. His ball was not even close. And so you got to trust that 7-iron. You don't ever have to pull out the driver as a kicker, and you just kind of go through that swing and get that going, and you're going to hit a lot of kicks in.
Before we get to some NFL stuff, Brett, on the subject of kicking, I know Sam Pittman touched on this either Saturday or Monday about him talking with Scott Fountain on that final kickoff possession and debating if they were going to squib it or kick it out of bounds. And Scott Fountain told him Vito's going to kick this through the back of the end zone, and he hit the padding on the end zone wall. So Vito has been a huge part of that kicking game as well. Brett, I want to ask about a guy that's pretty popular right now in the National Football League. That's Kellen Moore. Apparently, Kellen Moore's representatives told the Fort Worth Telegram that he is not going to be a candidate for the TCU job. Where do you think the offensive coordinator who was in line for the Eagles job this past year, where do you think the Dallas Cowboy offensive coordinator, how quickly is he going to get an NFL head coaching job?
It's so hard to tell. It really goes down to interviews. I mean, you can see, what Eric's doing there in Kansas City. He just hadn't come up with other, jobs. Everybody thinks he's up for, it's his time. It's his time to go on, and you don't know what's going on in these interviews. And everybody kind of has their favorites and people they want to go with, but everybody's also into this new offensive style of trying to transition the NFL more into college, because high school and colleges are all running the same offenses. But again, it's still going to go down to that run game, and you see them make a lot of adjustments. So it's just, you got to wait on the right timing. And sometimes it works out great for these guys, because you don't necessarily want to go to a Jets program or to a Jacksonville program that you're going to lose immediately. And it's really hard, even Detroit's played a lot of great games, but you've got to get the free agents there. And so in certain situations, you don't want to just bring these guys in because they are gurus of the offensive calling, and then they can't succeed. And then you go, well, this guy was a bust in the NFL. And it really just depends on the situation. But even look at Mac Jones, how much better he looks as a quarterback, as a rookie, than all the other rookies. And he wasn't even drafted first. And it's the situation that you go into. So you just got to be patient, and your time will come.
By the way, happy birthday to the Dallas Cowboy head coach and your former coach, Mike McCarthy, born in 1963, which makes him, what?
I didn't know there would be math on the show.
He's old, Brett. He's getting
58.
Yeah, 58.
58.
I think that's what I said initially. I think that's right. So happy birthday to him, Brett. You brought up Kansas City. They've got a huge game against their arch rival, the Las Vegas Raiders this week in a divisional game. And for those that pay attention to rivalries in the NFL, this is kind of one of the more underrated ones. KC, they beat our Packers this weekend. If not for a couple missed field goals, that game could have been a different story in overtime. Why hasn't Kansas City's offense produced like they have in recent years, in your opinion?
I think everybody's trying to do too much. I think, Patrick, you go out there and he's doing a lot more no-look passes that he's tried. He used to be just get away with one, and now it's multiple. And then his receivers aren't catching the ball. You can probably go back and look at half of his 10 interceptions and say that it went through the receiver's hand and bounced right into the defender. And that's just fortunate that it goes on the quarterback, but they weren't terrible throws. And so they've got to start making plays, and they've got to just settle down. And I tell you, Kansas City is a team that if they get in the playoffs and they get in a rhythm, they're going to be hard to beat. But they haven't found that consistent rhythm yet even on the defensive side of the ball. And so they just got to go out there and, like we said about Arkansas, get some first downs, get in a rhythm, and get things going. And it's not like they're nervous. They just have to go out there and perform.
Hey, what was your opinion watching, all the drama surrounding Aaron Rodgers, COVID, now the fines that have been imposed on the Packers? What's your take on everything that went on around Aaron and the Packers right now with COVID and vaccination, inoculation versus vaccination, all of these things that have kind of been the headlines of the NFL the last week or so?
It was, and it was kind of crazy after that time we got done with our show last week that he was out for 10 days. And so, it's a tough situation to be in. I think the media tried to handle it the right way, but he used a lot of lawyer terms, like I like to say, and nobody wanted to ask another question to follow up. Now, hindsight, everybody's saying they wish they would have, and he lied. I don't think he necessarily lied. It kind of goes into your HIPAA laws as well when you're talking about your vaccine status. And then nobody broke those codes except everybody just looked at the bargaining agreement between the NFL and the NFLPA, knowing that he had to be out for 10 days. So it's a tough situation for him. He's going to have to, regardless if he plays Sunday or, he comes back next week, we're going to get to hear him talk in front of the media, and there's going to be a lot of questions going on, regardless of what happens in the game. And so I think that I'm kind of waiting on that. I heard him on the Pat McAfee show, and I thought he did a great interview. And it's just, there's a difference of opinions with a lot of guys. And so I know that, even Prevea Health up there in Wisconsin, they parted ways. And so it's just it's one of those times where everybody is kind of on edge. And I get both sides. I get the sides of protection, towards, your teammates and the fans, but then you don't know how many fans are actually out there on the field. And, even the Browns this week, they've had 2 running backs, COVID calls. And so it's part of the season. It's part of play. Even our basketball team all across the SEC is going to have to deal with this. And I think it's just going to be an ongoing process and a debate for, probably years to come. And
you see even in college football, what the Cal game's been delayed because of widespread COVID within their team that was highly vaccinated as well. All right, Brett Goode joins us every Wednesday here on The Morning Rush, now part of the winning team at Henderson Phillips. Brett, it's that time of the year. Tell our listeners, I know we have business owners and business managers listening now that could use your help. Tell them exactly how you can help them heading into 2022.
Well, it's that time of year to just discuss rates, make sure you're getting the best thing for your company. You got to retain employees. And what I tell people, it's a great time just to start a conversation, to start to, get to know each other a little bit more. Let's go out and eat lunch. Let's just have a conversation to what we need to improve on. And there's a lot of things that you're able to do that, and we'd love to help.
All right, so if you're needing health insurance rates and quotes for your company, group health, group life, vision, dental, all of those things that fall under the term employee benefits, Brett can help you with that.
That's right. Go ahead. You can do it. You can do it all, and there's other markets that you can go to, and it's a competitive market that you want to make sure you're getting the best rates on those as well.
All right, get the best rates and the best service from Brett with a phone call to 651-2292. That's 651-2292. All right, we'll chat with you next Wednesday, buddy.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
We're back and better than ever. A new web interface to start the basketball season and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all basketball and football action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV 50 to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, and baseball postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.